Hi, well, I just wanted to give a short update, and I'm still me and I'm still alive. I just wanted to make sure that I put a video on to show that we're still living. We got a letter from the landlord the other day that we have until October but to live in this place, but I'm also looking now at places, and if one comes available on long-term lease, I am going to jump at it, and I'm going to have to appeal for help. Didn't really want to, and I had to knock back a day's work this morning because my son was very unwilling to get out of bed, and I've got to try and get him into the habit of getting up at 7:30 or 7 o'clock, and that's I'm now getting the energy to do that, whereas before when I was feeling sick at times the constant nagging wore me down. So it's now getting him out of bed, and I knew I couldn't, I had also something to do this morning, so I couldn't get out and get to the school by 8:30, and if I can't get to a school by 8:30, maybe there's another teacher who can, and I don't want to accept work that's going to be, or give people a service as a teacher that is shoddy or not up to scratch, so that's why I had to knock it back. He actually did ring me 8:05. And seeing as I didn't get near out of here till 8:35, it would have meant I would have got to Yarragon after 9 o'clock, and that would not have been good for me or for the school. Okay, so what am I doing at the moment? I am writing. Got back into my writing group online, and my goats are looking good. I'm looking at a property hopefully today, which is in Longwarry, and it's also on just over an acre. It's about an acre, and it's got a big yard at the back that I'll just fence off, and it's got a shed there for the goats. So we did look at another place, and we were going to work with another lady, which I still will, but it was down at Halora and long way to travel for near. Very isolated. If anything happened to the car, we would be sort of very reliant on other people, and I don't want that. At least this place in Longwarry is a bit cheaper than here, and I'm not reliant on other people. If I need to come into the city, I can walk down to the train station. If my car is not working, which I hope it continues and has a long life, until I'm able to be rich and famous to buy myself, as Nia says, a new Pajero. We need a new Pajero. Well, one day. It won't be a new Pajero because I'm actually one of these people who likes older cars, and I like to keep an old car going rather than spend heaps of money on this new car that could be a lemon. It's better to buy a car a couple of years old and you get it a lot cheaper, and some of those older cars, you look after them, they'll go for a long time. We don't need to have a brand spanking new car, even if we could afford it. Even if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't be buying the latest model out of the showroom. I'd be getting something that is serviceable, that goes from A to B. So I've at the moment still got $50 to pay on my last service, and I've got to get the shock absorbers done, so I am going to have to appeal, and hopefully I will be getting work. I am working on my book, on the book that I'm doing, the one on Popeye. I've got to try and do at least one illustration today. I haven't done much on that. We had a friend staying who also needed a lot of time, so and I've promised her a couple of hours of work, sorting files with her. And there's just the general things of cooking, of cleaning, and not just the looking after the goats, the looking after us, and getting on with life and just keeping life going. And that's, I don't know how people find time to get involved in many different things like alcohol and drugs and God knows what else, and watching movies and stuff, because somebody said to me, "Did you see that new movie?" And I said, well, no, I've been very busy. Anyway, I've got to also write to my mother, which I also find very sort of, also got to write to Mum, and hopefully if we can raise money, and if I can get a bit of work, and even if I can get a book advance at some stage, or one of my books, I might go up there and see her. I know I'm hoping to send Nia to Ben Akiva camp this winter, and he'll have a week away. We'll have a week's break from each other. Although, surprisingly, in the last few weeks, he was very keen that we celebrate my birthday, and he's been telling me happy birthday, and then when it's his birthday, he wants a bike for his birthday. Well, we had little sessions where we've gone on my phone and spent lots of money, you know, by downloading stuff, and I've said to him, no, unless you do as you're told. And you have to set boundaries with children, whether they are your children or children in a classroom. They need boundaries, and they respect boundaries. Anybody does. It outfits them for society later on. If we don't have boundaries when we're little, it's very hard then later on to set those boundaries when they're adults. My father, I was told my father would be up for child abuse. He did give us a whack with a stick and I with the rifle cleaner. And you know something? It didn't do us any harm. I can remember a couple of hidings I got. And for some people, they might say, oh, these are minor offences. How could your father do that? But then, you know, with my parents, they did set guidelines. And we didn't sort of feel that they were wrong. I remember once I was very rude and derogatory to a governess. And that's when my father gave me quite a big hiding. And we got a retired school teacher in who used his cane rather liberally on Stephen, my youngest brother, and myself. Apparently, according to my mother, Christopher didn't get, my middle brother didn't get it because he liked him. So he didn't get the cane. So I guess even retired school teachers have their favourites. But both Stephen and I remember he broke the cane on me because I was reading through and though. And I kept reading though as through. And he went through the woods. I read it as he went though the woods. And I would get a swack with the cane. Swack, swack. And I used to put my legs behind the legs of the desk. And he would break his cane. And then he would get really angry and he'd go and we'd do things like we'd put a hair down the centre of it, sort of get a little bit of horsehair, and put it down the centre of the cane to break the cane. So it teaches you all sorts of skills to have discipline, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to write a little bit about what I'm doing. But yes, unfortunately, hopefully this place we're getting at Longmorrie will be our last move for a while, unless I become very wealthy. Then I'll have to give lots of tzedakah or charity to actually, in a way, there's a thing, you're giving tzedakah, I don't have to give it back to the people who gave me tzedakah because obviously they can afford to give tzedakah, but one day when I've got the money to be able to do it, I can then give tzedakah to other people. So the chain continues. I can continue to help others. So, and that's what I believe in this world. If you have to receive tzedakah or charity at some stage, then if there comes a time in your life where you can give, you do give, and you look for people to help. And that's what I do in my life. If I can help somebody, and that's my philosophy, if I can help somebody, even by cooking them a meal or writing a book that will help others, I will do so. I'm not sort of into hatred or even when I've been on the receiving end of some quite virulent outbursts from my biological family, I don't see it as I need to return that. I see it as that I need to go above it and say, okay, that happened. Obviously, they're having issues in their life. We all have issues, but we don't have to take it out on other people. I get very cranky sometimes. So does my son. And so do other people in my experience. They get cranky. There's a few people in this world who I really admire, and they never seem to get flustered or angry at anyone. I mean, maybe that's what they've shown me, but I look at them and I say, I admire their self-control. And that's something that I work on myself all the time, is always to have that, not make my desires or my wants in my life override the person I'm associating with, or somehow in my family with my son. I step back and I try and look at what his needs are and how we can best meet them. Okay, have a good day, have a good week, everyone.